Hey guys, welcome back to Channel Claire. I hope that you're doing well wherever you are in this crazy world. Now, this is going to be a little bit different of a video. It is titled, as you see, What Would You Do? Because often there's a lot of situations that are happening in this world that I see online via TikTok or Twitter that I simply think, what in the hell would I do? So this particular situation I saw over the weekend on TikTok, and now it has made its way over to Twitter, and it's sitting at 162,000 likes currently. Okay, so this whole situation really is a social experiment in a way when these things happen with cheaters. And they're out and about living their cheater lives, doing their due with someone they're not supposed to be doing it with, and think that they're not going to get any repercussions. Now, people can do whatever it is they want to do in their life. Let people do what they're going to do. However, if you're going to be out and about, there are always people watching, and there are always people listening, and folks have cameras now, okay? But before I get into it, I do wonder though, just as humans, just in our society, it's so interesting how we will be so quick to get into somebody else's business and their mess and their drama, gossiping and everything like that. But when it comes to, say, someone in the street needing help, people aren't as quick as to get involved. In fact, they want to be uninvolved, to the point where they tell people, like, if you are in any type of distress or you're being harmed, someone's trying to get you, something like that, instead of screaming help, you're supposed to scream fire, because it's more likely that someone will get involved and help you in a situation where it's fire, versus if you're screaming help, people are going to be like, oh no, I don't want to get involved with that. And it's crazy how that happens. But we will be all in the mess, all in the drama, and we'll band together for a common cause to figure out who the cheater is, or who the cheater's significant other is in this case. So, as you can see, this is a little screenshot from the TikTok posted by Caroline Rended. It says Caroline Rened if you want to look it up on TikTok. It is sitting in this screenshot, it's sitting at 615.6 thousand likes right now. So it says, if this man is your husband flying at United Airlines flight 2140 from Houston to New York, he's probably going to be staying with Katie tonight. Got the girl's name and everything. Him and Katie met at the airport bar. She knows all of this, I guess, by listening to the conversation. Again, I don't know why people don't think we are nosy by nature, I feel like. I don't know why, if you're having a conversation out loud where people can hear you to the point where she has all this detail. He was at the bar, so he had to have been tipsy to be speaking for her to get all this detail about where they met and this, that, and the other. But anyway, it proceeds. They met at the airport bar and haven't left each other's side since then. He convinced her to change her seat so she could sit next to him and they could drink more. I don't know his name, but I know hers. Because he keeps saying it. He also said his 8-year-old daughter danced for the Astros opening tonight. Lots of key details and clues here. He's from Fort Worth, says he's a surfer, and got a new surfboard, apparently. Supposedly, he's the president of the company he works for, and flying to New York for business. I wouldn't have known he was married if he hadn't been wearing his wedding ring. Excuse me rubbing my eye, I didn't know what else to do in the self-record. Do your thing, TikTok. Hashtag find the wife, hashtag cheating husbands, hashtag United Airlines, hashtag flight 2140, hashtag Katie, hashtag Houston, hashtag IAH airport, hashtag Fort Worth, hashtag wedding ring. She got all of that detail because that dude was probably drunk off his fucking ass, pulled this girl he met at the bar, and as women, you're looking at hands. I feel like she could have saw he was wearing a ring, just like this woman who was letting us know what went down saw that he had a ring. So I'm kind of side-eyeing Katie, okay? But more so him, because he's the one in the relationship and married and has the ring. But it's just like the audacity and the gall of some people. He is just, he had to be loud as hell. Had to, for her to get all of that detail. They're like diagonal from each other, it looks like in this photo. But my goodness. So then there's this other screen grab where apparently she posted an update saying they were making out and ended up in the bathroom. In the bathroom, y'all. I looked through the comments on here, and apparently they found the wife, who I'm not going to say her name. If you look at this, you'll figure it out. But they find his wife in 45 minutes. 45 minutes. The internet, TikTok works so fast. They are some of the armchair detectives. They are so investigative. They know exactly where to look, who, and everybody is on TikTok apparently, because for her, the wife to be found in 45 minutes is insane. It's utterly insane. But here's my question that brings in the what would you do? Because I'm going into these comments and there's a lot of people who are like, right on, you did what needed to be done, you made the wife aware, so now she can decide what it is she wants to do. As it's stated, they have an 8-year-old child who danced at the Astro games. There's children involved in this mess. He apparently, obviously, has no respect for his wife. He's going to be walking around with a wedding ring on, talking all loud, schmoozing this girl up with who he doesn't know, to the point where he's telling her to switch her seat over. So what's that mean? Y'all gonna get off the plane together and go somewhere else to continue the party? Like, so a lot of people are on the side of, look, this lady Caroline who posted it, you did what needed to be done. Now the wife is aware and she can figure out what her next steps are going to be. Then there's another group of people who are like, oh no, people need to start minding their business. Since when is it okay to record and take pictures of random people? Thinking that it's inappropriate and overstepping boundaries, and meaning that you're like getting in other people's business. But I just think as a moral thing, you observe the ring. I mean, typically men don't wear a ring on their finger, on that specific hand and finger, unless they are married. That's just not a fashion statement. Like, as women, we might, want to put a ring on there just out of fashion or style, whatever, because we can. Men don't typically do that. So if there's a ring there, that means he's married. So I think that, in my opinion, it was okay for this woman to do what needed to be done, because he had no respect for his wife. So it's just like, at that point, fuck it. Since you were out there doing the do and being so public about it, unabashed and unashamed, now the world knows that you're a fucking cheater, and your wife found out in 45 minutes. And that is what's terrible, because she has a kid as well, and it's like fucking up a whole relationship. You know how the internet is. They ran over to their Facebooks trying to find all their details. I saw that apparently, he was a president of his company, probably trying to get his job, taken away. People do the utmost. So I get that sometimes the internet can definitely take things too far, where it's like, okay, now you're trying to fuck with somebody's livelihood. To the point where they're having like shut down their social medias, their Facebook or whatever, when they have a child they still need to provide for. Now, it's all his fault, because if he wasn't in the situation, none of this would be happening. But he got bold, and he felt like he needed to speak to this random girl with whom he met at the bar, talk all loud on the plane, when you're supposed to be going for business. Like, I don't know where that's appropriate, where you're getting effed up before you're about to go to a business trip or meeting. But that's what he was doing. And what were the plans for afterwards, It just is all highly suspicious. But I feel for the wife, because that's some fuck shit, and how devastating and embarrassing to know now the world knows your husband, because there's a face there. I'm gonna try to block his face out when I put it up, but there's a face there, and everybody knows. Like his neighbor, I think a neighbor ended up figuring out who he was, or like recognizing him, and was like, oh, that was my neighbor, and that's how it went down. I'm like, imagine having to tell your neighbor, hopefully they were some type of friends, but imagine having to tell your neighbor, hey, I was just laying on the couch like doom scrolling, and I happened upon this TikTok and I recognized somebody. I feel like I would just leave it there and just say, here, look, and then let it unfold in that way, because my goodness. But anyway, it's so interesting how in society we will go to bat, we will band together. I'm telling you, this post has like 16 million freaking views on it. On Twitter, over 162,000 likes. We will be all in the mess, all in the drama. But when somebody needs actual help, like when they're in danger, people are slower to assist. And I just think that that's so interesting. I think it's so interesting how society is. And I really do like the show. If you've ever watched it, What Would You Do? The social experiment show, where it'll be like, a kid, they enact a kid being kidnapped, and there's people walking around and they film what people do and their reactions are in that moment. What do you do if you see a kidnapping happening right in front of you? Do you just look around like, oh my god, wait for somebody else to jump in? Or do you get actively involved and try to grab, like, drop kick the man and tackle him to the ground and get the kid back? Like, it is so interesting. And hopefully, we're not in situations like that. Prayerfully, we hope not to have to like make those decisions and, experience those things. But I just thought it was so interesting how fast the internet pulled together to find this man's wife, to let her know that he was cheating on her on a United Airlines flight with some random woman at an airport bar. So, what would you do? Would you do like Miss Caroline and go on TikTok and let the masses know about this fellow cheating on his wife so freely and publicly? Or would you turn your head and pop your headphones in and text your bestie about what the hell you have just heard and what's going on this United flight? I want to know your thoughts. But it also does make me think. I understand a little bit more why they'd want to ban TikTok, because for information to be able to be disseminated and get that much of a reach that quickly, that could be concerning to certain people who don't want certain things out. For the good of the people, it's a great thing that we have a platform that is able to have such a reach so quickly, so people are informed about what is going on in this crazy world. So I hope it never gets to the point where they ban TikTok, because there's so many creators on there who are just living their lives, doing their things, making content, doing stuff that they enjoy, or making a livelihood. And the fact that information can be spread so quickly, it's amazing. It's so amazing how far technology has gone, and the need for us to be connected in some way, but not be connected because it's all like online. So 2024, man, crazy things. But yeah, I like I said, I want to know your thoughts on this situation. What would you do? Be real. Because everybody, I feel like, has either cheated or been cheated on, or both. And it sucks. It sucks so bad. So let me know your thoughts.